Okay, we won't talk about what we were talking about before we went on air, but we we were having a little bit of a fun time before we started. That's why we're so late here.
Oh,
Okay, hello and welcome to the MMA Live Chat Show. I'm Rich Davie, and it's Friday, October 31st, 2014. Today is Halloween, so if any of you out there are ready to go out partying or anything like that, have a happy Halloween.
stay away from my house.
Yeah.
Don't come over here. Don't fucking come over here trying to get candy and crap. I got nothing for you.
Well, I gotta get ready for the kids in a little while. They start knocking on the door looking for candy real
Yeah.
soon here. But on today's show, we're going to be discussing the TUF 20 episode 6 show that featured the matchup between Daly and Angela Magana, and we might chat about some other MMA news if we have time. On today's show, we have yours truly and Eddie Law. Thanks for taking part in another show, Eddie. Appreciate it. And go ahead and say hello to anybody that might be listening, buddy.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and ghosts, such as same shit. Whoever you are out there, hi. Like I said, stay away from my house. I ain't got candy for you, but if you are gonna go get candy, make sure it's the full-size candy. Don't waste your time with the bite stuff. It's just, it don't last.
I'm hoping that the kids don't show up so I can keep that whole bowl of candy for myself. I don't buy candy anymore because it's so expensive, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, you know what I do? What I do is if you buy the Mexican candy stuff, like you can buy like bulk. By the way, Mexican candy is horrible for you. It's like terrible for you. It's worse than American candy, but it's cheap, and if you get it in bulk, you can give that out. But it's funny because the neighborhood I live in, there's like very few Mexican kids, so that bowl usually, if we ever have any, that bowl usually stays pretty full.
Yeah. I like I said, I used to be a big candy freak, man, but I don't buy it anymore. I mean, when they started getting to like $3 for a pound of chocolate, $4, I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not a big Halloween guy anymore. I mean, I'll go to like parties, but like the kids are eating candy, the adults are trying to drink. That's just what it is. So I go to the latter.
Yeah, party's always good, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's talk about Daly versus Angela Magana. That turned out to be one of the more exciting fights of the Ultimate Fighter season 20 so far. Daly got off to a bit of a slow start, and it kind of looked like she was going to be dominated in round one there as Angela Magana just came out with a bit of aggression and just put it on Daly. I was actually kind of surprised how the first round went there, but apparently Angela Magana must have put it all on the line in round one there because her gas tank was spent in the second round, and Daly made a fight out of it there. I knew once the fight started at the 10:30 p.m. mark there that we were going to go and see a third round there, but I did enjoy the hell out of that fight there. Eddie, your comments on episode 6 and the fight between Daly and Angela Magana.
Man, it lived up to the hype in my opinion. As soon as the fight went off, Daly just, put the pressure on Angela real well. And for a second I thought, I was like, oh shit, because I know I think me and Fred and I both predicted a second round finish by Daly. And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, she's going to finish her in the first? Oh, man. But then Angela's got those hooks in and took Daly down real nice and spent most of the time on top of her. And then once she transitioned to the back and got the hooks in, I thought that was it. I was like, oh, man, now Daly's going to lose. It was a really, really fun back and forth fight.
I thought the same thing, man. I thought the same thing. I'm watching. I'm like, holy shit, man. But, it was you and I who actually agreed. We both said sub and 2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, we both said 7-2 by Daly, and Fred was saying TKO and 1 by Magana. But I didn't see it unfolding that way that he was, anticipating there, and I didn't think that would be a wise move. I mean, yeah, they came out, they did a little striking, but it was mostly Angela Magana in round one there, and like you said, man, she got it to the ground, and it looked like it was going to be all over.
Yeah, man, and then it got kind of crazy, but then, what messed me up with the entire fight, and it really, really pissed me off, was when they stood them up when Angela had Daly's back.
Yeah, that's not the only fight. It's been going on a couple of fights.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck is going on with the refs in TUF?
Yeah, no, it's almost like they pick it's like, who's the cheapest refs we can get? Because, we ain't trying to spend no money. I don't know how they pay refs, or how they pick them. But it's like they've just had a really crappy, not only in TUF 20, but in TUF Latin America, there was 2 fights that I have no problem saying the Mexicans should have lost, and lost handedly, right? But the refs somehow just did something crazy. But anyway, and the judges also fucked that up. But in this fight, it looked like Magana was going to transition to an armbar, And then, you know, you can hear Anthony Pettis say, they're not doing it to stand him up. And like a second later, the ref stands him up. I'm like, who the fuck are you listening to?
Yeah.
You know? Like, are you watching the fight or waiting for you know, boy toy Pettis over here to freaking, you know,
Well,
tell
that
you what
even
to
happened
do?
with Heather Clark too. I mean,
Yeah.
she was on top of Felice Herrig, and she's pounding her on the fucking mat, and she's moving towards the middle of the octagon, so Felice can't get up, and the fucking ref comes in there and grabs her and stands her up. It's like, what the fuck?
Exactly, and honestly, that really bothered me. And I was on Twitter when that exact moment happened. I just happened to be, you know, looking on Twitter and talking about it, and everyone blew up. Like, what the hell, ref? What the hell's going on? You know, and it was like, oh, it was a really, really bad stand-up, but it helped, you know, Daly out a lot because, you know, obviously got her out of danger, and then Daly came in and, you know, dropped a couple good right hands on Angela, and Angela, you know, it's almost it's not just the fact that she got tired. But it's also the fact that she got stood up and she was kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it's almost like the game got sucked out of her, right?
Yeah, but that was still in round one, wasn't it?
Yeah. In round two, that's when, you know, even when they were sitting down and had the cameras on them and they were telling Daly, like, hey, she's tired. You know, she's got nothing for you. And, you know, they changed the camera over to Angela. You could tell she was tired. Like, she just looked spent.
Yeah,
And
she not only looked physically spent, but she also looked emotionally spent as well.
oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's almost like I said, to me, it's almost like that stand-up really messed her up. Like, what the hell? I was right there. You know, and she has, like I said, like I was talking about it too last show. Angela has a really sneaky friggin' armbar, and I thought when she was moving around, I was like, she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. And then she got stood up, and I think at that point, you know, like she was kind of like, oh shit, you know.
Yeah,
And then she got tired.
I think it was on Tough Talk last night after the fights. They had a survey up there, and they were asking, you know, what the people thought. Whose fault was it that the fight was lost? Was it Magana's? Was it Daly's? Or was it the refs? And the numbers came back like 96%. It was the refs' fault. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, look, credit to both girls, and especially Daly for winning it. But still, like that stand-up should not have happened at all. It's not supposed to happen. But anyway, so the rest of the fight was all Daly. I mean, you know, we showed the top of her. Angela couldn't move from under her. And, you know, Daly just rained down the punches till the ref stopped it. So, I don't know. To me, the fighter with the better cardio won. You know, both girls showed good submission defense and a great ground game. And the stand-up was pretty good from both girls, you know. I think Angela landed a really nice head kick.
Even Melendez said it all came down to, you know, the conditioning.
Yeah.
He made that comment right after the fight. And he said, well, you know, it all comes down to conditioning. And you know, in my opinion, she was just, you know, I don't know if it was, you know, a combination of those things. I'm sure mentally she must have been impacted by what happened there with the stand-up, but physically she had nothing in two. You know, round two there was just nothing there coming from her.
Yeah, man, she put our eggs in one basket in that first round to try and get the arm bar, the rear naked choke, whatever she was trying to do. But yeah, definitely that conditioning, man. And then Daly kept the pressure up in the second. She was not letting Angela breathe, not for a split second, man. And you know, definitely wasn't happy with the.
Yeah, it's almost like she became possessed in the second round there. Because in round one, it looked like she wasn't even in the fight in round one, in my opinion. And then in round two, it was like, then Angela Magana wasn't in, and then it was like, wow, we've got a role reversal here, and then it was just all Daly. And then, you know, like I said, once I saw the fight starting at, you know, at 10:30, once round one was over, I knew, you know, Daly was going to win round two, and it was going to go three. And even in round three, again, Magana just was not there in the fight at all.
Yeah, man, that round, going into that round, it was just like, you know, she just had nothing. She had nothing left.
I mean, I was really surprised. I mean, I expected a lot more. I mean, and I wish Fred could have been here to join us to give his opinion on this, because I know he was thinking a hell of a lot more. And I don't know so much that she was, you know, she did come out strong and aggressive, and you know, she was putting the aggression on and you know, trying to dictate the pace and everything. But I don't know necessarily if she was as aggressive as what Fred was expecting her to be. What did you think?
And you know what? I agree with that. I don't think she was, but I think a lot of it had to do with just being really cautious. You know, I don't think she was trying to, you know, get in there. And I mean, because look, Daly trains with some, you know, killers and over in SBG, you know, Connor and Cathal and all them. So, I mean, maybe she understood, you know, those guys are pretty aggressive, and she trains with those guys daily, you know. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she wasn't that aggressive either. Yeah, I don't think so at all.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that maybe she just wasn't there, physically to be aggressive. I just think, like I said on the preview show that we did, I didn't think that this early in the tournament would it be wise for two girls to come out, who are as experienced as those two, and just blast the hell out of each other. I mean, that would be a foolish move because then what happens if you get cut open? You know,
Mm.
you're going to be forced out because if you've got a big nasty cut on your face from striking, you're done for the remainder of the tournament.
Oh yeah, easily. You'd be out of the tournament, no problem. So yeah, I remember. Now I remember that you made that point. Yeah, I mean, you don't. It's almost like they go in there like, okay, let's not cut each other up. Let's just, be as technical as possible and not just go in here, silly and throwing overhand rights and crazy punches, But Daly kind of went into that second. She went into the second and third rounds with like no fucks given. She was like, all right, this girl's tired. If anyone's getting cut here, it's her. And she just went at
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So I think Daly knew by like mid second round she knew for sure Angela had nothing for her.
No, I think she pretty much knew as soon as the round started because when the round
Yeah.
started, it just didn't seem like Magana was there. Again, I don't, I'm sure that what happened there with the stand-up in round one was probably still weighing on her mind, and I mean, I guess as a professional, they should be able to push that aside, but you have to sit there and think, was that impacting her, mental train of thought there? Was she thinking that, oh shit, is that going to happen to me again?
Yeah, yeah. If I get in this, if I take her down again and try to get her back again, is it going to, is he going to stand me up right when I'm about to get that armbar again? And like that would definitely fuck with me. But I mean, let's look at another example. Tim Kennedy when Yo Romero was not getting up off the stool. Like imagine what he thought. Besides the fact that he got screwed out of a win right then and there, right?
You thought
It's
so too, right?
I thought so too. I was like, whoa. I mean, right when it happened, like I don't know every single MMA rule by heart, but I know that's one of them. If the fighter's not willing to come out to fight, that's it.
At the bell, at the bell. If you don't get up at
Right.
the bell and you're still got your ass parked on the fucking stool, it's over.
Yeah, to me, what I was taught is that's as good as throwing the towel right there. Not getting
Exactly.
up, just as good. And so when he didn't do it, and then Big John was like was it was Big John, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. When Big John was basically it's almost like he almost stood him up himself.
He
And then the
did.
other thing,
100%. Get the
yeah,
fuck off the stool. Give
that's
me
right.
that motherfucker.
Yeah, and it should have been. Yeah, and Tim Kennedy's in the back like, what the fuck, dude? Like this is it, right?
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Shit. So
Yeah, I know,
yeah,
man.
it was kind of like that.
I had a hard time finding people who agree with me on that, so I'm kind of glad that I found somebody to agree with me on that because that was clearly. I wrote an article on it, man. I was so. I'm not usually motivated to write articles unless it's like what I
Yeah.
perceive to be an injustice, and then I'll write about something like that because to me that was a fucking travesty, man. I mean, that was plain, straight out cheating and a fuck up by Big John on that. I mean,
Yeah.
I still think that should be revisited by the commission, and they were supposed to, check into that. I haven't heard anything more about that. Have you?
No, but I mean, they always wait until until like right before they announce the agendas and their stupid little meetings. They always wait right before that. But even then, I think they interviewed someone right then and there, and they were like, yeah, no, some really some chance that this is gonna happen. And
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy was interviewed about it like a day or two after his fight. I think he went on Helwani's show, and he was like, you just heard it in his voice. He was kind of like, what am I supposed to do? He's like exhausted. It's shit like that that's gonna stop a fighter from wanting to fight, right?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be like that. It's not like Nick like okay, it's almost like Nick Diaz when all GSP did was hump him on the ground and he got back up like, hey man, I don't know why the fuck I'm doing this shit anymore. Like I don't need this anymore. It's almost like that kind of feeling. So
Yeah.
so Tim Kennedy is one thing, and Angela is a whole another set of problems because not only is the fact that she got screwed out of a really good position and a possible finish right then and there. It's is this gonna happen every time I'm in a fight? Is this even worth me getting punched in the face for? Like she took a lot of good shots at the end of that fight. So
Yeah. And
it's
even
you
Nisha
gotta take a
Tennant,
lot.
she was on the Tough Talk show after the Tough show last night, and she
Mm.
said the same thing. It's like, how the hell do you stand a fighter up when they're in that sort of a position?
Yeah, no. One thing about those tough talks, I have to skip them because inevitably, look, I love Catherine. What's her name? Bryant. What's her first name?
Karen Bryant.
Karen. I thought it was Catherine. Karen Bryant. I love Karen Bryant when she does interviews and everything else. when she does these tough talks, I can't watch that much because inevitably she's gonna say something really, really dumb, and I'm gonna be like, oh shit, no, I'm gonna turn it off. Or they're gonna go back to talking about Heather Joe Clark. It's one of the two. They never talk about anything new anymore.
Yeah. I noticed that last night myself too. It was a little too cutesy for me last night. But again, who are they directing that towards? Are they directing that show towards a demographic that's a little bit younger, or maybe more females, or because it seems like the shit that's going on some of the tough talk shit is kind of like catty woman type shit,
At this point, yeah. I mean, they didn't. I don't think they did that in Tough 19 or any of the other ones. So
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. That show is not for me. I'll check out the highlights online if they do any good interviews, or if they have Gilbert Melendez on there or Anthony Pettis. I'll watch. It has nothing to do with me being against listening to women, even though that's like the general thing is that men can't listen to women anyway. But yeah, but I have nothing against the women. In fact, they put Misha Tate back on there. I'll watch. She's beautiful, no problem. When Thug Rose gets on there and talks about how she beat the crap out of Alex, it's fine too. I'll watch that. But it's just weird. I don't really care to hear BS comments about she was mean in the house. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I heard some. I don't know. I don't even know if I should say this early in the season, but I don't know, man. I've seen some of the girls that I'm not quite sure they're all together there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It seems like some of those girls have a mentality of like 14-year-old girls, and I'm not going to mention any names, but man, it just blows me away, and I'm like, these are fucking adults,
Yeah. No, and the thing is too, and everyone that goes into that house and then to the tough house always talks about that, about how you have to get in there real mentally strong because it's going to drive you insane. You bring in girls that are already, they're already like that a little bit, and then you stick them in jail with doors that they're not allowed to walk out of, and then and around other women, and then it's got to get crazy, and so they probably look a lot worse than they really are.
Yeah. I mean, it blows me away when I see some of the shit that comes out of these girls' mouths. I'm like, wow, you've got to be fucking kidding me. You're a full-grown adult and you're saying stupid shit like that.
I mean, it's I don't want to blame it on society, but these days it seems like you don't hit adult. They used to say you hit adulthood at like 24, 25. I think they should raise that number to like 30, 32.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Something like that.
I can say this, and it's not only for females, but men too, because I know that when I was a kid, when I was 18, you think you're a fucking man and you know all the shit that you need to know. But as you go on in life, you go, oh, fuck, man, I was a dumb fucker at 18 years old. And then you get up into your like 20s and you're in your late 20s and you're saying, wow, man, I'm starting to fucking grow up a little bit here. And then you hit your 30s and you're like, okay, now I'm an adult. Now if I do stupid shit, it's all on me.
No, exactly. And it was funny because I was talking to my dad the other day, and in a Mexican family, they always, there's always a little bit of pressure to get married and have kids and shit. And I'm 28 years old, so I'm honestly don't feel like I'm in a hurry, but I'll get that little bit of pressure sometimes. And then I was talking to him, I'm like, you know why I haven't got married? He's like, why? And I said, because I'm afraid of having kids. And he says, why? And I'm like, do you remember what I was like when I was 18? I was an asshole. And then I thought my parents were stupid as shit. And then when I turned 2021, I realized I am the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. Mm-hmm. And like I was like texting my dad all the time, like, hey man, how does this work? Because I have no clue. Your parents become geniuses. And then somewhere around, I'm assuming like my mid 30s, so I'll start realizing that okay, I'm understanding a little more. But that you're an adult at 24 thing doesn't count anymore. You got to be like 32 to be a real adult.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true, man. And, like I said, I was a musician for a good part of my life. So, I was always partying and hanging out and having all the beautiful women around me all the time. So I never really needed to grow up. Everything I wanted and have was right there in front of me. So I never really needed to grow up. So I remained just a dumb young kid,
Yeah, no, sometimes I feel like that, like I do that, not really like to that extent now. But like I have friends that are married and everything. They got to ask their wife's permission to come play basketball. And I do whatever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want. And I like it that way.
No matter how good, and women are probably going to get mad at me for saying this shit, but no matter how much a woman treats you and loves you and respects you before you get married, once you're married, dude, that shit's all fucking over because that was all just a game to get control of you.
I always say, man, I'm not afraid of going to prison. I'm afraid of going to that prison they call the house after you get married. It's got to be that, you know. And you're right. It's a trick. It's a dirty trick they use.
It is. My wife did that shit to me when we dated. We dated for 3.5 fucking years, man. And she was great. I was like, holy fuck, man, what an idiot I would be not to marry this woman. You know?
Right.
And she did everything. She would come over to my apartment. She would come over with groceries, and she'd cook everything up and portion everything out, put it away, and clean my house. I'm like, holy fuck, man, she treats me like a kid.
Perfect. Yeah.
I better marry this woman before she gets away. The day we got married, that shit stopped. And my mother said to her, why do you treat my son like shit? And she goes, well, I got him married now. I don't need to treat him good.
I don't have to try anymore. I went fishing, I caught him, and it was over.
Exactly.
That's crazy. No, you know, it'd be funny is to get one of the female fighters from the show on here and talk to us about this kind of stuff. Because, like, I think one person I would want to ask is either Felice Herrig or who's the other one? Oh, I'd ask Thug Rose anything. I think I'd like to get Felice Herrig on here and start talking to us about this shit.
Yeah, I'd like to get Felice on here too, because she seems to be a pretty open-minded individual. You know, she's plays both sides there, where she's tough and she's feminine. You know.
Yeah, but I mean, I find what she says entertaining. I'm not calling her stupid. I'm just saying what she says entertaining. I find her funny. So a lot of stuff that she says is hilarious to me. So yeah, so I never understood why everyone complained about it. Like, oh, she's always showing her ass. I'm like, first of all, if you're a man and you're complaining that a beautiful woman, right? If you're a man, you complain that you know. That a woman's showing her ass on television, you're questionable immediately. you're on that list of, okay, dudes, you do not want to like crash over at their place because some shit might be going on. But Felice Herrig also has it, besides being a really good looking girl, she has that. To me, she has that humor, and she and she just does silly shit, says silly shit that I find funny. So.
You know what I miss from her? And I even asked her if she would start doing it again. I miss her singing, even though she can't sing worth a damn. I still enjoy when she does those singing videos, you know.
Yeah, like I mean, because you clearly could tell she doesn't give two shits anyway. But no, yeah, those are great. Those are really great. I'd love to see if she does it in the house, like if they after the season, if they do any like outtake show or something like that, and they just show her singing. I'd love to see the reaction of the other girls while hearing her sing. That would be awesome.
And the funny thing is she must. She must not really like the new music because I noticed that she sings all of the music from her parents' era. She's like into the classic rock and roll. So, I find that enjoyable watching her sing some of those old tunes.
Yeah, no, exactly. You wouldn't think she'd be into that stuff, but I mean, she's not. I mean, she's actually pretty young too, right? I don't know how old she is.
I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. I mean, not saying she's old. I'm just saying, she's in that age range where when she was younger, that's all her parents played, and she probably loved that stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we went way off topic there, but back. We always do. But back on topic here, Daly and Magana there. I thought it was a great fight. Did you think that was probably the best fight of the season so far? Because really, we've only had two good fights so far. The first one with Randa Marcos and Tisha Torres, and then the one with Felice Herrig and Heather Jo Clark. I thought those were the two best up until this show, and then I thought this show, won the prize as far as to date, which fight has been the best so far.
No, I completely agree, but I agree that it's the best fight so far, but only by so much. And the reason I give it that that little bit of edge on the Marcos fight is because. They at the very beginning they were going back and forth. Like I thought Daly was going to take control of the fight right away, and then out of nowhere Angela gets her hooks in, puts the leg down, takes her down, and on top of her and starts trying to put submissions on her. It was a very back and forth fight. Those are the most enjoyable to me. And then at the end, the better fighter clearly showed. I
agree with you. I felt the same exact way because it started out fantastic, and that first round is what really made it a great fight. And then the second round, where it was like things started turning around, and then of course isn't this the first fight that we've had go a third round?
I believe so. I believe so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So that kind of made it one of the better fights too.
But the thing about 3 round fights in the TUF series is that the good one. Okay, okay, now I gotta change that. As far as any fight in MMA in the MMA world, any fight that goes a distance that's very back and forth tells an awesome story, right? Like this story told of the very beginning was all right. You know, they're wrestling for control. Who's gonna dominate who? They go back and forth. They give each other the best shots. Okay, second round, who still has something left in the tank? You know, and then the third round was who's going to show that they're dominant. It's almost like a book, like a story that you can read to people, and it's that's what makes to me that's what makes a good fight, to tell a story every time, and it not only tells a story of what's going on right then and there, but it gives you an insight into what happened in the training camp and how they prepared. You know, for example, Daly clearly worked on conditioning, Angela not so much. So
Yeah.
you know, that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and this one pretty much unfolded the way that you and I were
Mhm.
anticipating there, rather than the way that Fred was thinking, because Fred was thinking it was going to be, balls to the wall,
Yeah.
knocking each other out in round one, but it really wasn't a whole lot of that. Yeah, they did do a little bit of striking, but it was
Mhm.
mostly a ground affair, and they were grappling for the most part, which is what you and I said it would probably be, because we were both expecting a submission in round two by Daly. Um, so, great fight.
Yeah, yeah, and the ground game was what I was hoping for, because they're two high-level girls, especially two that have really good defense and on the ground. I was hoping for it. Like we got it, and what happened, basically what we expected happened, other than getting finished by punches. But still, great fight.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a whole lot, man.
Yeah.
So, any more that we want to speak about that fight there? Do we want to mention anything else or anything in the future for those two ladies?
Oh man, I think I want to see what Daly has in the future fights, because now that we've seen her fight and we've seen that she has a great ground game. Um, I want to see how the other. I don't know who she's taking on next. Do you know?
uh,
I know they showed the bracket. I just don't remember who it was.
yeah, I don't think I made a note of that. I've actually been a little busy the last couple of days, so I
Yeah.
haven't really been up to date on everything.
Yeah, I saw the name. I just completely forgot it. But anyway, I just want to see how she evolves from here on. Like, is she gonna? I mean, next time we see her, is she gonna put up more of a strike game, like a complete strike game? But regardless, Daly's a fun, exciting fighter to watch, and I'll watch anybody out of the SBG camp. They're all entertaining fighters.
We'll talk a little bit more. I'll see if I can pull up something that tells us about that.
Okay, yeah. Well, here's the thing about Angela here is the one question I had about her right after the fight was over is how is she going to rebound from not only losing the fight, but the mental aspect of I couldn't make it through 3 rounds, like I wasn't conditioned enough, because I'm sure a lot of fighters when they lose a fight it's woulda coulda shoulda, so I wonder how Angela's going to recover mentally more than physically. Physically, she knows what she has to do: work on her cardio, work her stand up a little more, and then mostly cardio work for her. But still, it's the mental aspect the mental aspect fascinates me about any fighter, but especially the ones that lose. How do you mentally make yourself do this again? You just trained your ass off for a month or two for a possible 3 round fight, and then you lose. It's like, how do you mentally put yourself through that hell again to give it another shot and possibly lose again?
Yeah, and I guess one thing that we didn't mention here, we didn't mention how the fight finished there. Actually, Island Daly wound up winning by TKO stoppage.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it did
yeah,
end. It did end in a TKO, like Fred was predicting, but certainly wasn't the first round. And it was
yeah.
not
There
so
you go,
much.
Fred. You're wrong.
And then not so much that it was, a striking thing. It was a ground and pound thing that took her out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay, I'm still looking for that bracket here for who the hell she's going to be fighting. I can't
Yeah,
seem, I
let me
can't
see what.
seem to find it.
Oh man, are you gonna watch Invicta tomorrow?
I probably won't. I've got to take care of some business tomorrow. I'm going through all kinds of, personal things here that I'm dealing with. So lots of my time has been chewed up. So that's
Yeah,
why the site, I haven't been all that active and busy on the side. I haven't been putting up we did the event pool where we picked the fighters and the winners and things like that. I haven't been putting that stuff up because I've been so busy.
yeah. No, it's been crazy around here too. But Invicta FC 9 goes down tomorrow. and Megan Goodwin. And she's actually on the first fight. She was the very first one to go on the scale today on the weigh-ins. And man, she missed weight. I think the limit was 135. She came in at 138.8.
Wow.
Yeah, she missed by a bit. The thing is, when she went up there, I was like, wow, she looks really sucked in. Like that weight cut might have been rough for her because she usually fights at the 145, right? And I think this might be her second or third fight at 135. But I mean, it looked like the weight cut really did something to her. She looked sucked in. She did not look happy at all. She looked, almost like she was sick. And then she missed weight, and she was kind of like. It was like she looked over to the judge or whoever the hell, the official, and was like, like, what the hell were you talking about? She actually got off the scale, got back on like 2 or 3 times trying to figure out what the hell was going on. And then her opponent, I think her name's Kelly McGill. Yeah, McGill, and her opponent was fine as shit. I'm telling you right now. She went up there in like it's almost like a Minnie Mouse outfit because of Halloween, and goddamn, she looked good.
Hey man,
But,
I'm starting to see, and I've been saying this for a long time. I actually thought the UFC would have bought out Invicta FC at this point in time. But I mean, not only are we seeing them on UFC Fight Pass now that they've made that agreement, but they're also promoting the Invicta FC events. Maybe not directly, but indirectly through their websites and things like that. I don't know, man. What do you think is going to happen with that whole thing? Do you think they continue going on as their own separate entity, or what?
I think it all depends, man, on how Invicta. There's got to be a reality. The reason Invicta went on this because nobody was really buying the pay-per-views when they were trying to do pay-per-views, and then not to mention their pay-per-views didn't really work that well because the stream would screw up. Maybe right at the very beginning. I mean, they had that one pay-per-view that was so bad that Shannon Knapp gave everyone like free reign on the stream. It was like free for everybody because it just wasn't working. But I think the UFC is going to end up buying it or absorbing it, whatever they want to call it. I think they'll end up buying it if they don't already own a part of it, which I think is what happened. I think they own part of it.
I think so too, because why in the hell, when they were so dead set against co-promoting with anybody, and I mean, they're not directly competing with them, but now they are in a way.
Yeah.
And a lot of the cutesy stuff going back and forth with the sharing of the fighters, not only in the UFC itself, but in TUF, and it's 2 seasons now where they've been doing that. So kind of a lot of weird things going on here when UFC wasn't willing at all in the past to do any sort of co-promotion. So I tend to agree with you. I think they probably do own a piece of them at this point.
They have to. I think they do. I think they own part of it, at least part of it, and yeah, man. I mean, if they don't own it in the next, like, completely outright in the next couple of years and just have Shannon Knapp run it, because Dana White has plenty of headaches on the UFC side. That's what I would do if I'm the Fertitas and I just buy Invicta and I say, hey, Shannon, you're in charge of managing it. But those guys are businessmen, so they have reasons for what they do. But I don't know. What the funny part about today's weigh-in, now that I remember, is since it's Halloween, Shannon Knapp and Julie Kedzie, who's their fight maker.
Yeah.
Dressed up for Halloween.
Isn't she the color commentator too for them?
She is, yeah, she is. I'm a big fan of hers. But Julie dressed up as Joe Silva. She had a mustache and all that shit. It was hilarious. She had the jacket on that Joe Silva always has and the shirt. And Shannon Knapp put on like a skull cap to make her bald and put on an I Love Connor shirt. And she dressed up as Dana White. And she stood exactly the way Dana White stands at weigh-ins. It was hilarious. I'll try to find a picture and put it on Twitter because it was freaking funny. I had a good laugh, but what put it over the top for me was the I Love Connor T-shirt that she had on.
Yeah,
it was great, man. It was awesome.
Yeah, it seems like those two have a love affair going on, doesn't it?
I mean, you can tell they respect each other for sure. And like I said, I like Shannon Knapp too. She might be the most fair fight promoter, president, whatever you want to call it, that I've ever seen. Like, if some girls miss weight, and she was actually pretty cool about it.
Yeah, I must have pissed off somebody over at Invicta because they stopped following me. They were following me for a long time, and then the other day they're no longer following. It's like, okay, what did I do now?
Man, Twitter gets crazy, man. I don't. You ever seen those people that have the app that tells them who follows them, who unfollowed them?
Yeah, I got it, but I don't really use it.
Oh, I don't even bother because I don't want to. Like, I'm not a person that's gonna sit there going, "Oh, what the hell?" But sometimes I think depending on who it is, I'll be like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, because I've reached that point on my Twitter accounts where I have to constantly delete people in order to add more people.
Right? Yeah, I get that too.
I'm at that weird phase, but now that I'm over 2,000, it seems like they're allowing me to, to pick up more. But I was never really into this whole social networking shit. I fucking hate it, to be perfectly honest. Um,
Yeah.
the only reason I do it is to promote, the show, because the show I used to do is part of a website, and then I said, okay, well, let me just start promoting this as its own entity.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like a necessary evil. I got to do that stuff.
Yeah. I'm still not a fan of social media. Actually, I use Twitter just to like, you know, like just talk shit back and forth between people. Talk about like if there's a game going on, like the NBA's back up. And I spent like 2 hours last night talking about how like I don't know if you watch basketball at all, about how Cleveland did this whole thing for LeBron. Huge celebration, like oh the king has returned, and they lose to the garbage Knicks. I thought that was hilarious. It was the funniest thing that happened last night. I was going back and forth with people, especially with Knicks fans. Knicks fans are all like, "Oh shit, we beat Cleveland. We're going to the championship." I'm like, "Hey, it's game one, dude. Chill. Like, you got 81 more games to do this." But
Yeah,
yeah.
when I was a kid, I wasn't very tall, so I wasn't real good at sports. I mean, I could play baseball when I was a kid, and the funny thing was basketball was my favorite sport when I was a kid. Um, so it was kind of funny when I was young. I was short, but basketball was my game. I mean, I would skip classes in high school all day to play basketball all day long.
Mhm. Oh man,
But
I wish I
now,
could have done
now
that.
I'm not into sports. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I just don't agree with the kind of money that these fucking guys make. I mean, half of them are illiterate, and they're making these guys role models, and they all got that thuggery shit going on, and that's just, to me, that's
Mhm.
not a positive role model to be putting out there for kids.
No, I always say that if an athlete is your role model, your parents might have fucked up because, like my favorite athlete of all time, I think, is Charles Barkley, and he had the commercial I think it was a shoe commercial, whatever it was, where he was like, "I am not a role model," and I completely, even as a kid, I agreed. I was like, "Yeah, my pop is my role model. What am I doing?" But
Exactly.
yeah, I always get mad at parents that go, "Oh, you're a role model for my kids," and my first thing to them was, "Well, why don't you be a parent then? Because
Yep.
clearly you're doing something wrong."
Well, that's how I was as a kid too. My father was my role model. He was a musician and a carpenter, and he taught me
Mm,
how to be a carpenter and a musician. So
yeah, life's funny. The way it. I don't know. We get to live through this time. Like this is a crazy time to live because we're kind of like witnessing a change in society
oh,
that I don't think has been seen since like this maybe 60s, 70s, maybe between that.
yeah, drastic changes,
Yeah,
and not as
huge.
just society. The American culture is being eroded. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, in the old days, and I don't, because I'm an old fart. But in the old days,
Mhm.
man, I remember when people came to the country, they were proud to come to America. They were proud to learn how to speak and write and read English. They were proud to learn our justice system and our way of government. And today it's not that way anymore. America has unfortunately grown into a series of fucking ghettos. And it's really pathetic because down here, I mean, there's nothing but ghettos all over, and people can't even fucking communicate anymore because you've got little Haiti, you've got little Cuba, you've got little,
Mhm.
I mean, it's fucking ridiculous, man. When a nation no longer shares a common language, that's when they're destined to fail. Because if a nation can't, share not only a common language but a common culture, you know, it's like any nation that has been the victim of multiculturalism, and it makes me sound like an ass, but it's the truth. Go back and look at history. Multiculturalism is the bane of any fucking nation because when people don't share a culture and a language, the nation's destined to fall apart.
I don't know. I mean, the way I see it is it's different than that. Like I think, in my opinion, it's it's nice to have those things, little Haiti, little Havana, little everything. It's really nice because we're a country of a billion different cultures, so it's always nice to have the reminder of home. But at the same time, you're in a country we're supposed to be like on the same team,
Yeah, but
and
it's not. It's
we
not
don't
even.
have
It's not
that.
even like that. It's like ghettos, bro. If you come down to
Kind of.
fucking Dade County, man, I don't even think you would want to spend the day there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's a shithole.
Yeah, I think that might be like that area that the older areas of the country might have like because I know that like I live in the west side, I live in Arizona, and like here in California, like it seems like everything's a little more chill, but there are those really crappy spots like Compton over in California, South Phoenix. South Phoenix here is not a place you want to go after like 6 in the afternoon.
Well,
Like
yeah, exactly. It's almost like walking down any Martin Luther
yeah,
King Jr. street.
yeah.
Nobody's going to
Yeah.
go walking down that street at night. I don't care who the fuck you
Yeah.
are.
There's what is that? There's nothing peaceful going on at MLK ever.
Yeah.
There's always some violence going on.
But that's what's going on in Miami. And down in Miami, it doesn't even look like America anymore. It's like there's no fucking American stores or anything. Nobody wants to speak English. It's like, when I first moved to Miami back in the 80s, it was bad enough. Back in the 80s, I had to fucking communicate by hand signs. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I learned English in like third grade. I learned Spanish first, and then I learned English. And I realized you need to learn English to do pretty much anything here. So definitely, yeah. I don't know. It's a weird situation, especially in a multicultural country like ours. But it doesn't help when the leadership, and I'm talking about anywhere. I'm talking about local, state, or national. When the leadership's not helping bring people together and they're just splitting them apart, that's where the problem gets highlighted a little more.
Oh man, and we're not only seeing that on the local level, we're seeing it on the state level and on the national level. I mean, it's really pathetic what's going on today.
Yeah, it's a creepy time. It's a crazy time. I think we're at this like edge of evolution where something's gonna happen. Something has to happen. So hopefully it's not the zombie apocalypse, but fuck that. I'm ready for that shit if it goes down that way. Fuck it.
Yeah. This sounds like one of your shows, huh?
Yeah. I'm actually it's a good thing we're going into it now because I'm actually gonna do that thing in about 5-6 hours. I'm gonna go to the gym real quick and get some back work in and some heavy lift, and then I'm gonna come back, do my show, and then call it for the weekend, man.
Yeah, so anyway, I could not find who she was going up in that
It's okay.
there. I pulled up every page that I could, and I couldn't find the bracket. I found all kinds of brackets, but they were all wrong.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, then there it is. But dude, finally first, before we end this, I just want to talk about the next fight, which is the most important fight, which is Thug Rose against whoever. I don't even care who it is. It's Alex something.
Alex Chambers.
Yeah, I know, and she's fine as hell too, man. It's gonna suck to watch Thug beat her ass. It really is. I'm clearly biased as hell right now, but it's gotta be a really good fight because what I read about Alex Chambers is that she's super fast. She actually came up from the 105.
Oh, really?
She came up to 115, 105. I watched some of her fights. This girl is fast, quick. You don't see anything coming, man. I can't wait for this fight because it's got to be like watching two Tasmanian devils go back and forth because Rose is fast on her own. She's super quick, so
yeah,
it's gonna be fun to watch, man.
And the way that the show was teased this season, not only from DFW but from Ronda Rousey as well. I think we pretty much know the way this one's going to go.
Oh, hey man, look, man, I knew before even they talked, all right, and I know I'm a big Rose Namajunas fan, and ever since her fights in Invicta and all that, so I think I became a fan when she pulled off that flying armbar. Yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this girl's exciting. I'm gonna watch her. She's freaking fun to watch. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally, she's my pick to win the whole thing. So
yeah, she seems like a really cool chick too because
yeah.
She says she likes to fight. She's always been a fighter.
Yeah.
Then when you see her beaten up, I don't know if you saw the video of her walking into the bedroom and
oh yeah,
how she woke up Pat Barry there with a giant boxing glove on it. Boom.
Yeah. That's a very patient man that can be sleeping and get punched and not get up and freak out,
Oh yeah. Oh, I've had that happen to me, man. I've had a woman come up to me and hit me when I'm fucking sleeping, and then I reached up, out of a panic.
Yeah.
And I poked her in the eye, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Now I feel real bad all about it.
Yeah. If you do anything, if a woman punches you in your sleep and you get up and do anything, you're in the wrong already. You just lay there and be like, "Oh, that shit hurts." The fuck,
Yeah, but when you're in a dead sleep and they wake you up,
I bet.
Shit, anything could happen,
I bet you freak out, yeah. I bet you. I don't know. It hasn't happened to me yet, but now I'm gonna be paranoid about that a little bit.
We'll see. So it's really starting to get interesting here now because, like you said, there we got Rose Namajunas here coming in, and she's going to be fighting Alex Chambers. That should be an interesting fight there. I think we all know how that one's going to end, unfortunately for
Yeah.
Alex there, but
Yeah.
they pretty much teased us over and again to let us know that there's a new Ronda Rousey in the house. So
Yeah, one thing. Yeah, one thing quick about. Let's talk. Let's finish this. I got one thing about Ronda Rousey after we're done. Oh, okay. Ronda Rousey, did you see her video? Cause she's like a new sponsor for some lifestyle brand.
Yeah, I saw that. She looks pretty hot in that. Yeah.
Oh my God! Did you see the video of her shoot?
Yeah, and I heard she broke up with what's his name?
Brandon Schaub.
Yeah.
She should. He's a dummy. No offense, Brandon, but she's a dummy. Hey, that's a huge guy. I'm not gonna go up to him and be like, hey, you fucking suck, and then get punched in the face by Big Brown. He's a giant dude. But hey, man, look, I listen to Joe Rogan just consistently, pretty much every episode, and he does these fight campaigns that are badass, right? They're just fun to listen to. People getting drunk and watching fights. And when Brandon Schaub's on there, sometimes he says shit where I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, how does Ronda put up with your crap? Ronda's an intelligent girl. She listens to your shit. No, I refuse to believe she likes you. And then my suspicions are correct. That's good.
Yeah, this is her first big clothing sponsor, correct?
Yeah, I think this is. You know what? On that point, I think this might be the beginning of the end of the Ronda Rousey reign in UFC. I don't think she wants to, fight another year, man. Like I don't.
Well,
I think she wants to.
She always said that she works in quintennials, I think is how she termed it.
Yeah.
Where she works for 4 years and dedicates her life to it, and then she moves on. So.
Yeah, I think this is the beginning of the end. You're starting to see her do clothing lines and the movies. She's modeling and all that, and I mean, who knows what's next? But yeah, she's. I mean, I don't know, man. I think she's got maybe like a year left, in my opinion, and she'll just retire undefeated if she can. And
yeah, I'm sure there's a few people she wants to, whose arms she wants
to
mantle and,
have
the final say over those women that, have been challenging her. I'm sure she wants to be Cyborg. I'm sure that's somebody she's going to have to come up against before she winds up giving up the sport,
Hey, man, I'm telling you right now, they make that Cyborg Rousey fight, that will be the biggest fight in the UFC history, even bigger than any Brock Lesnar fight ever happened.
Well, it's going to be happening because, earlier this year, Cyborg dropped from 145 to 135 and gave up a fight at 145.
Yeah.
And I believe she even gave up the belt as well, didn't she?
Yeah, no, she wants to make that 135 and basically show Dana White that she can fight at 135, and I'm waiting for that fight, man. I want to see how she does at 135, how she looks, because there's always that diminishing returns possibility of you're just too small, or you cut too much and you lost strength. I don't think it's gonna be the case for her. She's gonna be a killer at 135 too, and man, when they make that fight, that's gonna be huge. You might as well make that day a holiday, because everyone's been wanting this fight. Everybody, even casual fans that don't know next to shit about MMA, want to see that fight. They don't even know why, but they're like, oh, I want to see Rousey fight Cyborg. And you go ask them why. Like, do you know who Cyborg is? Oh, not really. Okay, well, then shut up. But still, it's gonna be an awesome fight.
Yeah, I still think, even though she cuts to 135, when she comes to the UFC, she should still have to take a fight at 135 in the UFC. I don't think it's going to be good enough for her to take one Invicta at 135. Yeah, show us that you can make 135 in Invicta, then come to the UFC and take a fight at 135 in the UFC. I'd like to see that, and then if Ronda Rousey is still the champion, then go ahead and fight Ronda Rousey.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what should happen. That's probably what will happen. But for now, we'll just find out who the new Ronda Rousey is at 115, and I hope it's Rose. But either way, it's been a great season so far, and I'm not expecting it to get any more or to get boring at all. So we'll see.
All right, well, let's wrap up the TUF thing. I do want to speak about one more thing here, so let me wrap up TUF. Congrats to Aisling Daly for getting the win and moving on in the TUF tournament there. It'll be interesting to see how she does in her next fight there. Again, these two ladies that just fought, they were two of the most experienced fighters in the house as far as fights on their record go, wins and losses either way. So it'll be interesting to see what happens from there. We don't know what the bracket is for her after that. Couldn't find the exact one there. But next week, we're all looking forward to watching Rose Namajunas fight Alex Chambers. So that'll be next week. We'll do a preview show on that as well. And wrapping up TUF here, I want to move on and just ask you this one question here, because we have one of our viewers that watches along the videos when we do the videos, and he participates with us and asks questions. So Spike Zero, This is for you, buddy. Spike wanted to know what we thought about the whole situation going on with Ronda Rousey, Brian Caraway, and Joe Rogan. Where they're thinking actually about wanting to, get a fight together between those two there. Your opinion on that, Eddie, before I say anything. I see we just lost a viewer there, but we had a couple of viewers on there that were watching along, so maybe one of them was Spike. But what do you think about that whole circus act?
Okay, first of all, this happened on that Fight Companion that I was talking about. I think he had Eddie Bravo, Ian McCall, Brandon Shaw, and a few other people there. Aubrey Marcus. We had a bunch of people there. But he brought that up when they started talking about somehow I think Fallon Fox came up, and then they switched over to dudes fighting chicks, and then that came up. And the exact quote Rogan said, actually have it on here, is it's quote, if you know that a chick used to be a dude but is now a chick and you fight her, I'm on board. I think it should be legal to ride bulls. I think it should be legal to jump BMX. You should be able to do whatever the fuck you want to do. I think a 135-pound chick should be able to fight a 135-pound dude. I think if Ronda Rousey and Brian Caraway talked enough shit and decided to go at it, I don't have any problem with that if they both agree to do it, end quote. Now, I think what he was talking about right there is, because they were talking about how Fallon Fox has that male bone structure, and that's how she fucks chicks up. I think what he means is like the lighter weight people, but specifically Caraway and Rousey. I mean, Caraway's not that much bigger than Rousey, and I fully agree that I think Rousey could take Caraway and choke his ass out, take his arm, and Misha would just get mad. And Misha wouldn't even be mad that Rousey beat Caraway. She'd be mad that Brian let his arm go in between Rousey's legs. That's what she would be fucking mad about. She'd dump him on the spot. That shit would be over. But my point about it is this: I mean, it's not gonna happen ever. It doesn't really matter. But I mean, it's Rogan likes to joke around. He'll talk about this stuff, and he actually believes that. That's one thing, right? Like, I have nothing against it. Like I said, I agree. If they agreed to do it, I'd watch it. No problem. I'd love to see Brian Caraway get his ass kicked by Ronda Rousey any day.
All right, so you don't have any problem with that whole concept of man fighting woman.
In that exact situation, no. But if you put Cain Velasquez against Misha Tate, there's a huge problem with that. Huge.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I think it would be like case by case. Hell, I mean, and again, the fact that MMA media took this as a story and ran with it was hilarious. Because you know what Rogan did after that? I don't know if you know who Joey Diaz is. He's like one of the funniest dudes on the planet. Mm-hmm. But Joe Rogan does a spot-on impression of Joey Diaz. They're really good friends. But he does a spot-on impression of Joey Diaz. And you guys should go on YouTube right now and just type in Joe Rogan as Joey Diaz as Conor McGregor. Because he basically pretends to be Joey Diaz, pretending to be Conor McGregor, and it's fucking hilarious. Yeah, no, it's great. It's fucking great. So just YouTube that shit because it's funny. But again, the MMA media took that story from that podcast where 5 minutes later he did that, that whole thing with the Conor McGregor Joey Diaz thing. Don't take it so serious. It's just they're just shooting the shit, talking, having fun.
Yeah, I know Spike. He wasn't all a fan for that. He didn't agree with the fight actually going on. I don't think it should happen either. I mean, if there was to be a man and a woman meeting in the octagon, would I watch it? Again, like you're saying, if it's two 135ers that are close, in size and everything like that, I might watch it. Would I pay for it to support it? Probably not.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, but I mean, I really wouldn't want to see that because then, number one, like you're saying, it's not going to happen. It would never get sanctioned. And again, we're talking, circus, three-ring circus shit. Who really wants to see something like that,
It'd be like NBA basketball having men play against women, and the men wearing leotards and the women wear, lingerie. It'd be a freak show. It'd be nothing, It'd be nothing sport about it at that point. It would just be like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? But it's like you said, it's a circus show. So that's all it would be. Yeah. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. So no reason to even, I don't know.
I'm probably a little more conservative on that than you because you really don't have a problem with it. I really don't have as hard a problem as you, but I wouldn't want to see it for the fact that it is a circus freak show. Yeah. Would I be tempted to watch it? No, I would be, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd watch it. I wouldn't want to, like you said, I wouldn't want to pay for it, but I'd watch it. Yeah. I wouldn't want to put, like they say, you vote with your money. I wouldn't want to be putting my money into something and have my name be under that list of people that supported this shit. I just want to see it. If it's gonna happen, it's out of my hands. You're gonna do it anyway. Okay, I'll watch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that answers all of Spike Zero's questions there, because I can't actually pull up the page where his comments were right now. But you know, Spike, man, anytime you want to join us, man, I know you're over in Germany and you're telling us that your English-speaking language isn't all that good. Hey, man, we wouldn't mind having you on. A little broken English, no problem. We hear it all the time in America.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Especially here. and where you're at, too, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks again, Spike, for throwing that idea out to us there, and you know, I hope we addressed it at least to your liking there. Again, you know, if it came around where Rousey and Caraway would fight, would I watch it? I probably would. Would I pay for it? No. Do I think it's right? No, I don't want to see those kind of, you know, circus freak show things going on in MMA, especially after MMA has just started to, you know, gain the recognition and mainstream notoriety that it has. So.
Hey, real quick before we end, I just kind of found this on my Twitter. Phil Baroni put out there, says, Phil Baroni, you know who Phil Baroni is? He trains at AK, he used to be in UFC.
Yeah, I call him the New York not so badass.
he just put out there on social media that, and this is the exact quote, looks like Wandy Silva, NYE in Japan. I accept. What the fuck does that mean?
Wow, how the fuck did that mean? Didn't he just trim down to like 130 pounds or 135 pounds or something?
Yeah, he's small as shit. I don't think he's anywhere near 205 anymore. Or 185. Yeah, it's weird. You imagine that Baroni against Vanderlei Silva?
No, that's talking about freak show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's one right there. They might as well show up with just a funeral procession.
And since we're on the topic of freak shows, have you heard of this Gabby Garcia?
No. What is that?
Gabby Garcia is this massive Brazilian jiu-jitsu woman.
Yeah.
Some years back, she was looking pretty normal.
Yeah.
But she got busted. She's won all kinds of, you know, Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournaments and things like that. And she's got all kinds of accolades on her record in combat sports. But she got busted for, you know, the drug that helps you conceal and hide steroids.
Holy shit, she's huge.
Yeah. So,
dude, she's got biceps the size of my head. What the fuck? That's not real.
She claims she's 226, but I'm saying she's probably more like 240.
I think she's bigger than LeBron, man. That's bull. Dude, there's a picture. She was on TUF Brazil. I recognize her. She was on TUF Brazil when it was Sonnen and Silva coaching against each other.
That's exactly who that is. Yes.
There's a picture of her standing next to Vanderlei, and she makes Vanderlei look like a 12-year-old boy. What the fuck? Wow.
There was a fight that was being pushed around for her to take with some Japanese fighter whose name I can't recall off the top of my head. But it was like another freak show, man. It was going to be Gabby Garcia. She was going, oh, well, I'll cut down to 198.
Yeah, right.
Well, fucking 198, you're still going to be huge next to that little Japanese woman. I mean, that's a freak show. But according to what I read there, I can't remember this Japanese girl's name, but she was she's not unknown to the freak show world, and she's actually fought another big monster like that.
Oh, man.
So, you know, I just think that would be absolute insanity. And then today I read, you know, because I wanted to talk about that on the show until that was put off. And then today I read that Gabby Garcia has come out and said she's not going to take that fight. She wants to be known as a legitimate MMA fighter. She wants her first MMA fight to be against a valid opponent. And then she starts talking about other fighters who are nowhere near her size, you know?
Yeah, dude, she's a monster. I'm not even making fun of her. She's a big, strong. Dude, she's got neck. Dude, she's huge.
Dude, not that long ago, she looked like a pretty decent-looking woman, man. But I would be afraid to go around that woman now.
Dude, yeah, no, I'd be scared shitless. Like, I wouldn't even want to roll with her or anything. She's huge. No wonder she fucking destroys people. She's a giant.
Yeah.
That's not even. Oh, fuck that, dude. I don't know. No way, man. She's a giant chick.
But go do a little history on her and look at her from, you know, a few short years ago. I mean, she looked like a normal woman. And I know I'm going to get shit for saying that, but how else do you fucking describe it? I mean, she looked like a normal woman a few years ago, and now she just looks like the Hulk.
Yeah, she used to look like a normal human being. I'm going to say that. She looked like a person. Now she doesn't even look human anymore. Yeah. Like, that's not natural at all. No way. I mean, the fact that it's weird that she might have thought that she could get away with this shit, just do it all the time and not have people question it. The second I saw that her on Tough Brazil, I was like, no, that's not real.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. There's no way. I mean, her arms are fucking massive. Her arms are my thighs.
Yeah, there's a GIF. There's a GIF on your forum, and it's her morphing into the Thing.
That's me. I made that.
Oh, you made that? That's awesome, dude. I'm looking around and I'm like, and it was like, what the fuck? She changed. Oh my god, shit.
I made that. I just couldn't help myself. I just was like, holy Christ! When I looked at her, she looked at me like the Thing. I said, well, let me morph the two of them together.
Oh man, yeah, she's a scary chick.
I've got a sick sense of humor. People give me shit all the time for my sense of humor.
Yeah, you know what's crazy though is I wonder how many people are gonna group her in there with Cyborg as far as users go. Yeah. Like, Cyborg's gotten busted before, so that's what I don't get is fans that support her as saying that she's better than Ronda Rousey, even while knowing that she got busted for shit. Like, how could you do that? Like, you can't.
I think she even beat up Gina Carano when she was on the roids, but I think
has to have. And you know what's crazy about it is there's only 2 fighters. But okay, Mike Tyson aside, the only 2 fighters that I've seen in my time that their opponents walk to the cage looking like they know they're about to die is Cyborg and Ronda Rousey. No matter who Ronda Rousey's fought, every single one of them had except for Sarah McMahon. But even when Miesha Tate came out to I think the Katy Perry song, like she was walking like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. What am I doing? Right? Yeah. When Gina Carano walked out to fight Cyborg at Strikeforce, she had that exact same look on her face, like, I'm gonna die. Oh, shit.
And you know what? And I love Gina Carano, and I was always a big fan of hers because I thought she's the one that actually made, and I know there were a lot of pioneers before and other women fighters, after her and during her time, but she is the one that brought, women's MMA to the forefront. I know a lot of people say Julie Kedzie is responsible for that, but come on, really, it was Gina Carano. And I thought that Gina Carano never got any respect. I don't think she got the ass drubbing that people try to make that Cyborg put on her. She was actually on top of Cyborg in one of those rounds in full mount, punching down on her. So I just don't get all the hate for Gina Carano. I mean, again, a lot of guys don't think because a woman can be hot and attractive that she can be an effective MMA fighter, but we've seen it over and again.
Yeah, no, completely. She just got caught in that fight, man, and she had to cover up and try to get her shit together, and she couldn't do it before they stopped that fight. But as far as Gina Carano,
with 1 second left in the fight,
exactly. That was at the buzzer win for Cyborg, and so she doesn't get anywhere near the credit she deserves for that. But when they were talking about bringing her in to fight Rousey, I was like, no, please, just stay out and get paid to be beautiful. Please don't. I don't want to see her get pushed in the face again.
Yeah, I love her. I think she's great. But again, and I don't know if you've seen her lately. She just seems like she's much larger than she used to be. Yeah. And in the old days, she struggled to make 140 and 145, and she looks to be quite a bit larger than that now. So I really don't realistically ever see her coming down to 135.
Yeah, that ass though, man. That ass got to be a good amount of that weight. She got a nice
go take a look. Go take a look on the site in one of the forums. Yeah. It's probably one of the women's forums. I got a GIF of her in a hot black outfit in one of the movies that she did.
Oh, man.
Take a look. You'll love it. All right, we're sounding like a couple of pigs here.
Yeah, we probably pissed off most of the female population in this country. So, especially with the way you can't say anything about women these days. We were not being disrespectful, ladies, at all. We were just 2 guys discussing shit. We both like women a lot. That's what it is. And this is how we discuss stuff. It just happened to get on the internet. Our bad, I guess. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna talk just like this in about 3 hours. I don't know. I don't care.
I'll have to come on your show one of these days, bro, so I can have a free and open mind to say things.
All right, dude, we'll make that happen one day.
All right, bro. I guess that's about it here. We pretty much covered everything we needed to cover and a whole lot more. So thanks again for showing up. I had a great time with you as usual, buddy.
Oh, yeah, same here, man. Same here. I'd love to do the show, and I'll do it anytime.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you next time. Have a great one.
Hey, you too, man. See ya.
And happy Halloween, everybody.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.